Welcome back, guys. Deathbringer here, level 3, the road of sacrifices. So, I talked a lot about the Undead Settlement level and why it's so good. Here we're gonna see a level that FromSoft kinda dropped the ball. Also, I'm a little bit sick, by the way, so take it as you will, So, this little starting area introduced us to these enemies, so as always FromSoft, when a new area comes up a new enemy is gonna appear, and the gimmick of these enemies is that they have to take time to go to their ultimate form, but that form is very strong. Actually, you can very easily die when they have wings on. Also, these enemies play a huge role in the lore of the game. I think they're from the painting of Ariandel, the first hint we get that we're gonna see the painting. So anyway, as you can see, those enemies are very weak to bleed, so I can easily kill them. So this little introduction area, not so many things to talk about, it's kind of a filler area, and I really hate that. It's a useless area in my opinions, because you will never have to go back to. It's not like in Dark Souls 1 that you have to walk back through some areas. Dog fell off. So you have to go through some area again and again. You never have to go back to. The only unique thing in the area is the one dog that fell off has something in his stomach. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, yeah, that little opening area here doesn't do much for the game. It's just a filler area, and I hate that. I hate that. Maybe they made the areas of the game and didn't know how to connect them properly. This area feels like it's missing so much. Excuse me. So, after you're done dealing with that, you can move on to the real area, you can say. The view is beautiful, by the way. You can see the wall, stuff like that. You meet two NPCs here, more for the lore, very good pacing. The story of the game has a very good pacing, in my opinion. So anyway, you get more of a lore information, but we're here to talk about the level. So, this level starts way too good with some verticality on it, so yeah, it starts really good. And you can see that you have many options, you can go through the lake, basically it's a wide area. I think they did that because it's also a PvP kind of area, but once you die in this area and you have no ember, then the PvP is closed and the difficulty of the area goes way down. Maybe you can say, oh, you lose 30% if you don't have ember. Dude, in your first run, 30% is like nothing on health, so it's not as a big of a problem. So this area is really disappointment from world building kind of view. It's really disappointment. Just a flat thing with not too many things. When we go to the Farron Cape down, you will see how to properly make a swamp area. It's much more better than this one. This area feels kind of finished. They should add more, and you can also see that with the door behind me where the crystal lizard is, and that this area can get close to the Farron Cape area. I think at the first they were going to make these areas the same, but that changed during development. So basically the door behind me is useless at this point. Why? You will never use the door under normal circumstances. They thought that you can somehow go from this area first to the Colosseum of the Abyss Watchers, then you will see that it's locked, and then somehow you have to light up, so you traverse back the area and those two areas will connect with each other. But they gave up on that. That's just a theory, but you can see the clues around. Also, another unique thing, These enemies are the first quote-unquote normal hollows that have hyper armor, so again the pacing of the game is really good. Also the Black Knight, I think it's the first Black Knight you encounter, and in New Game Plus I'm playing, he can pretty much one-shot you if you're not careful enough. That's why you saw me going for the backstab fishing. So anyway, not much to say, really boring area actually. Those enemies can poison you. Maybe early game you don't have much of things to counter poison, you don't have the purple thingy, but poison is this game is that weak that at worst you just, if you run out of Estus, you could go back to the first bonfire. And also the bonfires in this area are pretty weird, like you have one on top and there's a second one over here, like at worst you won't find the second bonfire, but if you find it, like it's not very hard to miss it, like in the undead setting area, it's not really hard to miss it, cause you see the ghouls lead you there, like FromSoft always does that, they play with the vision of the player in a way that you can see it. Like you will see there's a dog here, that dog serves that purpose exactly, to make you go there and search that place, because the door will lead you to the quote-unquote door we will see in a second. I think I'll go over that door maybe, quote-unquote, like the terrain makes you look that way. You can also see the bonfire from here I'm standing. This place here, the dog leads you here, and from here on you can find the bonfire. Also you would get invaded by an NPC, but I think I already killed him and died, so we can't see that. Anyway, those enemies again bleed really good for those. Even regular weapons can pretty much two-shot those enemies if you have good AR on your weapon, like 500 AR, I think will pretty much destroy them. I like the bleed sound, so anyway, you can actually repost the crabs here. Like the crabs is another gimmick of this area, which is pretty nice. Like if you think about it, in the first area there's the gimmick about the hollows that do the lantern thing and the wake up of the hollows. There's the boss of man, the huge black thing, etc, etc, like the blue knight again and again. So in the second area the gimmicks are mainly ambushes, traps and stuff like that. And this area the gimmicks are like you find a black knight, which is a challenge. The huge crabs can only stay in water, again that's a gimmick. Those guys have hyper armor, you can say that's a mechanical gimmick. So pretty much in each area FromSoft tries to make them unique, have new mechanics, new challenges. Those two guys here, which one of them is missing? I don't know why he woke up. Those guys also have hyper armor in one of their moves, but Blade pretty much wrecks them. So, rest in peace, I guess. Ooh. Very weak on Blade, yeah. Those guys are here to just pressure the player, but you will never face two at once if you're really careful. Here's a little ambush right here, but if you fall from the hole it's gonna be very bad, but if you come over from that direction it's not as bad. Like, that's the only trap I can think about in this area. Maybe there's some other ambushes. Also the two NPC watchdogs are there to just tell you this is the wrong direction, don't go to the swamp, and even if you kill them and go down to the swamp, there's a bonfire so you can heal back, come back up, and also the swamp has a lot of poison, so it's like telling you don't go, it's a new area, don't go that way, so you can go back up and keep exploring. So the little castle here, pretty interesting but also pretty empty. I think that this level was, as I tell you, this level was put at the last second, kind of like... Oh, I'm getting invaded, by the way. So anyway, this level had a lot of potential to combine it with the Farron keep level, but they never did it. This little castle area has some secrets, but not much of, connective as, like, it's very basic. It's one room leads to another, you kill the enemies in that room, move to the next room, etc, etc. Like here you have plenty of space to hide from the spells, and maybe you can consider a trap, the holes they have here to ambush you. But these columns protect you from the magic of these kind of mobs. The first mobs that get magic, by the way. Oh, soul spear, yeah. Huh. Excuse me, sir. Anyway, you can kill those very easily, and even if your first playthrough, like, you can use the columns to protect yourself. The second one won't arrive as fast, like the first one is right in front of the door, so pretty much when you go in this room, you know exactly where you're getting into. So there's a little secret NPC upstairs. Here, helping someone. Pretty much this level is exactly as I said, pretty vague level, like, pretty empty. It feels so empty, like not much. Like, you can argue that you can jump down here and, you know, make the level a bit more interactive. Like this little castle quote unquote area, try to make the level more interactive. Again, the lantern gimmick we saw at the first level, now with the add-on of projectiles and stuff like that. Pretty good pacing from soft part. I'm just hiding back and killing one by one. I don't want to risk it, even if I have so many Estus. I just don't want to risk it because I know how to kill the crabs. Also, the swamp has a little gimmick that I wanted to see more of, kinda. Like the deep waters won't yet let you roll that fast, so I would like to see that more in this upper area. Maybe that gimmick is an introduction for the lower swamp, which also has that. But the lower swamp also has the poison gimmick, so I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit too much, like having poison and slow you at the same time. Not in the whole area, but you can see what I'm getting at. Like those two areas feels like they should be the same, but they kinda are not. They're not the same for whatever reason. Like this area up here should be the introduction, and it should have at least 2 or 3 ways to go down, and by going down you could go also come back up. Also, there will be no need for the bonfire, like the second bonfire up there. There will be no need for that if those two areas were connected, because you already have a second bonfire at the door where the Black Knight is. So from a game developer's perspective, you can see there are a lot of clues on why this area should be one, but they are not, and that's why this upper level feels so empty. You can actually repost the crabs. I didn't know it at that point. You can actually repost them. Just Google it. You can see how you can do that. Oh, I'm dying, man. What the fuck? Anyway, so crab number 1 down. Crab number 2. Also, the crabs have a very clever mechanic so that you can cheese them. FromSoft really thought about the whole cheesing from distance. Like in Dark Souls 1, the mage was kind of the easy mode, so if you leave the water for way too much time, the crabs will go down and then regenerate the whole health. So pretty clever stuff. This area is of a challenge. It's more of a, how can I say, this area is more of not a clever, like it's not trying to kill you cleverly, it tries to kill you with sheer force, and that's one of the problems that people have with Dark Souls 2. This area just tries to kill you with sheer force. Here it could be a boss arena, but they changed that, of course. But anyway, that's my speculation. So you find the 2 NPCs here. Just going down to light the bonfire. We are not going to proceed, that's a different area. I'm just making sure I have killed everything, and in fact I did. So here we're gonna see a little funny thing. I'm gonna summon this phantom and get him. You will see. So anyway, the challenge pretty much done here, but I want to talk about some other things. So this area, it's more of like it tries to kill you with sheer force and not with clever planning or clever world design. Like there's no edges to follow, like there's no trap, there's nothing. Just tries to kill you with sheer force, like really tough enemies. If you make a mistake and aggro too many of them, you're gonna die like a black knight to grabs, invades from players and from an NPC invader. Delirious punish you if you use embers, so if you don't use embers, the area somehow becomes way more easier than it should be. It's very open, so you can't really be trapped if you know your spacing and stuff. So you can cut around the huge number of enemies that they exist. Uh, there are also useless spots in the area that won't learn you anything. Like they're just there. It feels so empty. Really, it feels so empty. The little castle area here is way underdeveloped. So here we summon New Game Plus Hodrick, the god himself, and we're gonna have that fun to fight him. Of course, because I'm a nice guy. So yeah, if you go back to my Undead Settlement video, you can see why this area is so unpleasing. Why this area feels so empty. It has it offers so little. It's a filler area. Like after the first area of the game and the exceptional second one. The exceptional Undead Settlement area. This is what we get. Get wrecked, son. Holy shit. So yeah, after those two first area, this area feels anticlimactic. Has little secrets, has some gimmicks, but won't expand on themselves. So anyway, guys, see you next time. Peace.